Hey guys, what is up? Ioki here, and today's video is sponsored by Instant Gaming. They are running a completely free giveaway, so check the link out down in the description, and you could very easily win. You can choose from a ton of great games like Sea of Thieves, Grand Theft Auto, and many, many more. So check out Instant Gaming down in the description, and enjoy the video, guys. Peace. Hey guys, what is up? Ioki here, bringing you some Rakan coaching session. If you guys don't know who I am, maybe it's your first time at the channel, my name is Ioki. I'm a Grandmaster support player, and we are currently coaching a player by the name of Klyga, who is a low elo, somewhere in low silver support player. So right off the bat, I love the proactivity. I love the fact that you're not the last one out of the base. You're out here getting vision, because especially in low elo games, a lot of games are determined right here. You get first blood in an invade or stack against their invade, and it's just such a great feeling to have your team all on the same page. Okay, so wow, right off the bat, so flash W. All right, so it's whatever. You would have had two of them. You traded flashes. It's all good. It's a little deep not knowing where the rest of them are. And before we get into the actual laning phase and talk about what laning phase is going to look like without your flash, let's go into your runes, because I did take a look into your rune page. You've got a pretty standard Guardian page, and then you're going Nimbus Cloak and Celerity. Honestly, into a team like this, I would probably be looking at Presence of Mind, and you can kind of swap up with the second one if you want. If you want to hold on to those sorcery secondary page, that's totally fine too. The one important rune that I would be swapping out for you though I would be getting Font of Life instead of Demolish, because against a Tristana, whose her auto attacks do AoE damage, it's very, very difficult to push against. And so I don't think you're going to be actually pushing all the way to the turret unless you get a kill. And also Blitzcrank, it's very risky to push into as well. Like pushing under their turret against the Blitzcrank can be pretty risk. Okay, so let's talk about your team and your role in this team, because it's very important to kind of like build an understanding of the game, and you start by doing that by looking at every single game and thinking, what am I doing this game? So you're playing Rakan, incredibly versatile. You can peel, you can engage. You're kind of like a jack of all trades. You've got a really nice team comp. You've got lots of hard engage, lots of beefy frontliners, lots of people to E and W off of. You've got a great team comp. I don't think you're racing against the clock here. I don't think you get outscaled. You're good to go. So some games, especially when you're playing like early non-scaling teams, you kind of want to be playing like more aggressive in the laning phase, because you need to be wanting to end the game by like 25 minutes or so. But you don't have that problem here. All right, so we got our Relic Shield. We're looking. Both supports do not have flash. Alright, so we want to be pushing, we want to be autoing these minions, because if they get level 2 as a Blitzcrank Tristana, you're going to die. So, yep, there we go. Be hitting those minions, get 1 or 2 more autos in. It's going to be very close over who gets level 2 first here. See, and if you had been hitting this minion, you could have gotten it and actually jumped on them. But instead, what's going to happen is they're going to jump on you. And see, we ended up having to blow our flash. They might even kill her. Nope. Okay, so she barely survives. So that is the biggest mistake I've seen you do so far, is you're not autoing minions level 1 to hit level 2. Especially against lanes like Blitzcrank, against Thresh, against Leona, against Alistar. Champions with hard CC are wanting to hit that level 2 and jump on you. So you as a ranged champion actually have an easier time hitting minions than Blitzcrank does. I know Rakan is kind of like melee and ranged, but you've got a much longer ranged auto attack than Blitzcrank does. So you can hit those minions from a much safer distance than Blitzcrank, who has to walk up. So right off the bat, push for level 1. Or push minions level 1. Alright, so Kai'Sa TP'd back. We're chilling. Okay. Nothing too bad. As long as you're not getting hooked under the turret. So you guys actually have an advantage here, because Kai'Sa is actually able to buy and reset her health bar, and they have not. So you guys have the health advantage and the itemization advantage. So we want to push this all the way to the turret. So you want to be thinking in lanes against champions like Blitzcrank. And really, in a lot of lane matchups. Think of your lanes, think of the bot lane in terms of thirds. From like right here behind their turret to like right here is their third of the turret, or is their third of the lane. And then from right here to like right here is neutral term. You can fight there, you know, it's dependent on junglers, things like that. And then from right here to right here is your third. Ideally, you fight in your third, but it's totally fine to fight in the neutral third. Not very often are you wanting to fight in their third. Maybe once you get level 6, maybe if you have a jungler coming for a dive. But, so, it's bad to have the lane in their third, right? So how do you fix that? You either let it push, or you push it all the way to their turret and have it collapse on their turret and then bounce off. But this is kind of like really low elo, so we're gonna be focusing more on like fundamentals rather than like wave manipulations, things like that. Okay, so we've caught Tristana. One thing I will warn you is that as you get into mid elo, Tristana can do something called buffer her jump. So when you're Wing in with something that's really easy to see coming, like Rakan W, she can actually press W, and even if your knockup hits, it'll allow her to jump out. Champions like Tristana and Ezreal are very easy to get out of Rakan Ws. So I don't want you to build a bad habit of just constantly saying like, oh, I can W onto Tristana, that means I should. Because as you get to like somewhere around like low gold, people are going to start buffering their W, because it's very easy. Just want you to be aware that that's a thing that can happen. Alright, so we're chilling. Our top laner's back. So, pop quiz. Pop quiz. Let's see how well you're paying attention to the game state. Do you know where Shyvana is right now? Because you should 100% be able to tell where she's at. Let's run it back. So we're laning, we're chilling. Something occurs in the game that should tell you exactly where Shyvana is at. So, if you're not checking as the support, you don't have the obligation to have to be farming. So you need to be the one that's checking the map and keeping tabs on all this information. So if you didn't see out of the corner of your eye that there was movement on the mini map, or you didn't see that, you need to be checking your map more often, because that could be life or death. Alright, so we rotated, and that exactly right there is why it's important to know. Because you had something called prio. You had prio, it means you have priority, and what that means is that you are faster to rotate to this area than they ever possibly will be. Because in order for them to rotate and go help Shyvana, they would either have to take this long route, or they would have to walk through you. Which obviously means like you're going to fight them and probably kill them, because they're fighting in your minions at that point. So understanding prio and being the first to rotate is very good. In my coaching sessions, I like to point out the things that you're doing good too. So you used your prio, you rotated, you killed Shyvana, good job. Alright, Blitzcrank Hook is down. We get another W off on Tristana. Good stuff. Alright, we push it. We should be instantly backing here. We don't want to dilly-dally. Notice how Kai'Sa's instantly backing. You have nothing to do on this map, and you haven't bought yet. So, don't waste time. You want to minimize your downtime. Kai'Sa had the right idea. You push it to turret, you instantly back. A good rule of thumb is that if the ADC backed, the enemy ADC backed, that means you should be backing too. Push it to the turret, because look, she's missing all the CS. Tristana's not getting any of this. But, since she backed before you backed, now she's going to have an opportunity. Now Kai'Sa's going to get back to lane, and she's going to be 2v1. Because I'm assuming you're going to eventually channel your back. See, this is like 10 seconds too late. You want to minimize that downtime, because that 10 seconds could honestly mean that it could make the difference. Okay, So, I like this. I like that you instantly path mid. This is a really, really good path that a lot of people don't see. However, your first item here should be boots if you're going to do this. It's going to be 10 times more effective. You getting early boots instead of the Glacial Shroud, because Glacial Shroud doesn't help your mobility at all, right? And if you had gotten here just a little bit sooner, honestly, you might have been able to prevent this. Wow, it really is broken. Okay, so it ended up working out, but boots. Boots rush. Boots are like some of the most broken items in the game, honestly. Having the mobility edge over people is just like... What? Okay, so you just greeted. You just kind of overestimated your damage. It happens. It happens. So looks like both of you guys die. All right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that before we get into the boots thing. Rule of thumb: you get something good in the lane. Let's go back to here. You did something good, right? You sent Tristana back. You pushed it to turret. You need to back. You push it to turret. You back. You push it to turret. You back. You come mid. You kill Zed. You push it to turret. You back. You don't dilly-dally around, because all that downtime is doing is inviting them to collapse on you. So obviously, you know it was greedy to go for Blitzcrank. Not gonna cover that too much. All right, so boots. This is what you should have bought to begin with. I rush boots on every single champion, unless you're bringing the rune called Magical Footwear that doesn't allow you to buy boots. Boots should be the first 300 gold you spend. It is. I can't stress it enough. It's invaluable. 300 gold. You cannot spend that 300 gold any more effectively than by buying boots. It lets you dodge skill shots. It lets you engage on people. It lets you catch people out. It lets you rotate faster. It's just the whole package. I promise you. You want to be rushing boots over Glacial Shroud every single game. Okay, we're chilling, we're chilling. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's called the buffer. So, even though your W actually did hit, she was able to buffer, which means she presses W, and even if she gets knocked up, her jump goes off. So this is why it's very, very difficult to play this champion into Tristana. Look at that. It says airborne, like you knocked her up, but it still allows her to jump. It's crazy. Okay, so you don't want to be Eing here, because when you E, it throws you to the other side of your teammate. And you were actually doing a really good job of body blocking. Maybe it was by accident, but you definitely want to body block here, because you have an escape, and Kai'Sa doesn't. So if you had just stood there and took that hook, one, you might have even been able to counter engage, like press R on Blitzcrank and then run into Tristana, but you definitely don't want to be Eing over here, because Kai'Sa doesn't have an escape without using your ultimate. Whereas if you get hooked by the Blitzcrank, like let's run this back one more time. So we see Blitzcrank. We know exactly what Blitzcrank does, right? He does one thing. If you had just stood here and took that hook, you probably could have killed Tristana, honestly. But you definitely would be in a better position than you were here. So take the hook, press R on Blitzcrank, get that big juicy burst of speed, and then CC the Tristana, who we know doesn't have jump. Instead, we're in a much worse position, right? Because Kai'Sa's already flashed out, now we've wasted our ult, so it's the little things like that. Alright, we've also kind of like lessened our engage opportunity now, because now we don't have ultimate and Kai'Sa flash. But it's all good. Alright, we chillin'. We know that Amumu is either clearing the dragon or starting the dragon, so we're rotating. Good job, good job. Blitzcrank doesn't have hook. Honestly, I'd be starting the dragon. You have like a 17-second opportunity where Blitzcrank doesn't have hook, and he's pretty worthless without his hook. You also have Prio on your mid, so if worse comes to worse, Aurelia comes to the dragon, and then you fight a 4v3, because Zed is not going to beat Aurelia to the dragon. There's just no way, right? He has to sit here and clear these minions. So, as support, honestly, you're in one of the best positions to be a shot caller. Support and jungler are the best shot calling positions, just due to like your kit and the fact that you can be basically anywhere on the map that you want. You know, it's difficult for an ADC to make a shot call like that because she can't frontline. She can't, you know, start the call. She can't, you know, engage usually. So due to your kit and due to your map, the freedom of the map, support and jungle are the best shot callers. So I want to see you be more vocal with your pings, because solo queue, everyone's just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, right? Like you're coming to this call because Amumu made the call, right? You probably didn't even put any thought into it. You're just like, well, Amumu's starting the dragon, so now we do dragon. But if you can condition yourself to learn when it's a good time to do dragon, then you can be making that call, right? Honestly, I don't even know. Amumu probably doesn't even know why he's doing dragon, but he's doing it, which means you're doing it. So condition yourself to understand and walk through those steps like I said. Blitzcrank has no hook. Worst case scenario, it's a 4v3 because we have prio mid. Like, condition yourself to learn and understand why you should be doing dragon, and then you can start making those calls. Because people will usually follow you. If you make a call, I mean, it's just unfortunate. It was no longer really a great call because, look, we don't have prio, so now they're mid laners here. We probably lose this fight. But if you had taken the fight earlier, when you had mid prio, and when Blitzcrank hook was down, none of this probably would have happened. It would have been a good call. So that's kind of like the downside to not making the call. If you don't make the call when it's good, someone else will make it when it's bad. And then your team's stuck with a bad call. So that's why you want to learn to become a shot caller. It's a very, very important skill. Alright, so no real reason to be mid right now. You don't really have any kill potential in Zed. I would definitely be bot. You want to minimize... Kai'Sa is something called a hyper carry. If you get her to 2 items, she will carry the game almost certainly. So you want to be minimizing the amount of time that you're not by your hyper carry. Because worst case scenario, Blitzcrank comes out of this bush. I know we see him here right now, but when I started this spiel, we didn't. Worst case scenario, he runs out of this bush and they catch Kai'Sa, right? As a peeler, you want to be minimizing the amount of time that you're not with Kai'Sa. See, look, she's caught out. And why were they able to do this? Because you were dawdling mid. See? You got to be thinking about the worst case scenario. Now, if this was if you had the Tristana and she was able to just jump away out of danger, it'd be different. You could be a little more, or you had an Ezreal, he could arcane shift out. It'd be different. You could roam a little bit more, but you want to be minimizing the amount of time that you're not with a carry like Kai'Sa into champions like Tristana Blitz. So you want to be like going down like a mental checklist when you roam. I've actually got a really old video called the roaming mental checklist, and it's old. It's like several years old, but all the information in it's still really good. You want to be going down a checklist when you roam and thinking about things like, does my ADC have flash up? No, she doesn't. Do the enemy team have flash up? Yes, they do. Okay, so that's one check against you, right? Is my ADC mobile? Does she have an escape move? No, she's Kai'Sa. Do the enemy have hard engage? Yes, they do. They're Blitzcrank and Tristana. So, and then another one is like, am I going to get anything done mid? No, you're not. So, we wasted the time mid. I like the fact that you're trying to roam so much. I think that you've like probably seen players roam without understanding when or why or how they do it. So it's good that you're going out and roam, because roaming is one of the best things that you can do as a support, but you need to be understanding why you're doing it and when to do it. Okay, so let's look at itemization. We're going back for our buy. We got Moby Boots. Moby Boots aren't terrible. Honestly, I'm finding myself buying Swifties more and more because a couple patches ago, this is being recorded on patch 10.10 by the way, a couple patches ago, they actually nerfed Moby Boots and buffed Swifty Boots. So boots of Swiftness are actually a much more viable option nowadays. because Moby Boots are 100 gold more expensive, and they actually made Swifties faster. Okay, so once again, we're finding ourselves mid, and Kai'Sa could be in danger here. You got to understand that as soon as you show mid, and what I mean by show is that you come to mid, and like you're past the turret point, so their minions see you. They know Kai'Sa's alone, right? So once again, they're probably going to look to hard engage on Kai'Sa. Right? Because they know you're mid. Now, the roam mid is good. The pathing mid is good. Right around here, I would probably pivot out and come back to bot. Because what allowed them to hard engage on Kai'Sa wasn't the fact that you went mid. It's that they knew you were mid. You showed mid, and you didn't get anything done. So they know they've got like 20 seconds where they can just completely poop on Kai'Sa alone. Alright, and this is Blitzcrank being greedy, so I think you guys killed the Blitzcrank. There you go. So, make sure when you're showing mid, that's like you hard committing to the roam, right? Because now the enemy team has the knowledge. So I like that you're pathing mid. There's going to be a lot of games. Unfortunately, you haven't found anything this game when you do it, but the path mid is good. It's a very good path, I promise you. Alright, big. We got flashes, not bad. So in a game like this, and it looks like you're going to do, it looks like you're probably going to build it. Zeke's is definitely the rush item here. You should go Zeke's in this game for sure. Zeke's does really well with Kai'Sa. Okay. Not bad, not bad. You've got numbers. We see Teemo coming from the top. Their team is split. Yours is all together. Very nice. Hey, we got the dragon too. A nice W. E out. We're not going back in. That guy's dead. Alright, we got what we came for. Good job. Okay, so the beauty about Rakan is that you can W super deep onto their backline and then E back to your backline. I see the last couple of engages, like this team fight mid and then that team fight at the dragon, I see you doing this weird thing where you're Eing to a team member and then Wing, like basically while the ally is on top of the enemy. You want to be holding on to your E's to E out, typically. So let's go back and watch that actually. Because you did the same thing at mid, and I don't know where you've picked that habit up, but let's go ahead and try to break that. Okay, so right here, you're like Eing onto Aurelia. You're basically just wasting one of your E's, because she's not like actually in danger of dying, right? She's still got a whole lot of health bar left. All you've done is ruin one of your escape tools. So, just W onto this fight. Because I saw you do the same thing mid, so I don't know where you picked that up, but typically you want to be Wing super deep and then Eing out. Rakan is like the only engaged champion that can get in and then out. He's very versatile like that. So you want to be using that to the best of your ability. Alright, we're chilling mid, we're chilling bot. Okay, so here is actually a scenario where Kai'Sa doesn't need you. Because now your turret's fallen, so the wave's going to be constantly pushing all the way up here. And she'll be able to freeze this or push it. It's her choice. But here's actually like where you as the support, the map opens up to you. It kind of sucks that you lost your turret, right? But it's good for Kai'Sa, a late game champion who wants to scale and get lots of farm. You don't want the farm, and you don't need to be here for her. Because it's a lot harder for them to 2v1 her here, catch her here, than it is here. So when your turret falls, the turret is no longer shooting minions, so now the wave is going to come all the way up here, right? And Kai'Sa can do whatever she wants with the wave. She can farm it, but it's not your duty to farm that. So here is where you need to be roaming. Alright, so here, this is what we should be doing. Getting out on the map. This is good. Hopefully Ornn wakes up and kills this Zed. Oh, okay. So I just saw a big mistake that you did here. So unfortunately you guys don't get the Zed, right? Ornn is completely asleep at the wheel. We get caught by a Blitzcrank hook. We don't want to be Wing this, because your W is not going to do 1,233 damage, right? And you've got absolutely nobody that could ever follow up on you. None of your teammates, right? So even though you do get to knock them up and inconvenience them for 0.5 seconds, now you don't have a W to go over the wall. Whereas there's a chance that you could have W'd over the wall and lived. So don't give up on your life that fast. That was definitely a scenario where you wanted to be trying to W out. Okay, so once again, I'm seeing this weird EW thing that you keep doing. So right here. You EW instead of just straight running at them and then Wing them. You could have gotten Blitzcrank here, and he would have been CC'd under your turret. You guys probably would have killed Blitzcrank there. So try to break yourself of that weird EW thing you're doing. You don't have to E. Now, if you need the E to set up to like actually create distance, that's good. But you're not using it to actually like make your W actually go further, because you're just EWing like in the same spot. And I think it's costing you a couple catches. Okay, we got our Zeeks. It's good. For my second item for Rakan in this game, I would probably go Locket, or maybe even Shurelya's. I think you guys have enough heart to gauge that Shurelya's would actually be pretty good. So we'll see what you end up going. Right, that's Zed's Flash. Make sure you're timing that. Around this stage of the game, honestly, it's pretty important to keep track of Assassin's summoners. Because you now know until 26 minutes that Zed doesn't have a Flash. So you can kind of like overcommit, use everything to catch him, and he can't flash out. But right around now, is this stage of the game, he's going to be hitting like his 2-item power spike. And he's going to be slippery boy. Oh, went a little deep there. Alright, so let's watch this unfold. Alright, so what I think is happening is I think you've got like a fundamental misunderstanding of how to use Rakan's kit. Because we're Wing onto our teammate here. Instead of Eing and being in a good position to follow up W, we W here. If we had E'd W, like you've been doing, I think we could have gotten Blitzcrank again. Or at least Shyvana. But yeah, this is rough. Alright, there we go. Got her with the Flash W. Walking alongside Zed. Trying to get out of here. Alright, so in this scenario, you're Eing onto a Mumu when you definitely should not be Eing onto a Mumu. A Mumu is trying to save you, right? You're the victim here. You want to keep walking or W out away over here. You don't want to E and make yourself closer to Zed. You just put yourself in auto attack range for him. Okay, so that's another death we could have prevented just by like kind of having a better understanding of using the W to run away. So it's kind of the same thing that happened over here. We doubled down and accepted our death, and I don't think you needed to. I think you could actually be like 2, 1, and 7 right now. You could have prevented 2 of your 3 deaths. Alright, looks like we get another dragon. Nice, nice, nice. Orin just shot his ult backwards, I guess. Now the EW there, I'm gonna forgive that one because it probably was pretty important for you to put a shield onto Orin. As long as you understand that that's why you're doing the EW, but you definitely don't need to be using it as much as you have been. Alright, so we're chilling, we're getting vision. I want to see a lot more vision on Baron though. You're warding a lot, you're spending a lot of your wards on this side of the map when we've got no vision over here. So we see Teemo, and we've got no vision on Baron. I think if you get a pick right here, honestly you could be doing Baron, but it's going to be very risky to path through there if you've got no vision, because you're going to be face checking into Zed, into Shyvana, into Blitzcrank Tristana. Hey, that rhymes. So yeah, I want to be seeing more vision on Baron, especially since you've got your team like bodyguarding you. Like, at least get the ward here, maybe risk it to get this one over here. Okay, so we see Teemo pushing bot. They're eyeballing Ornn. Okay, Blitzcrank Hook is down. We can look for an engage here. This could and should be a good fight for you guys. Okay, Zed just used his ultimate. Hit him with the instant RW. Love that, dude. Love that. Great job, great job. That was really, really good reaction by you. Insanely easy team fight coming up. I think Ornn actually just missed that ultimate, so you're not gonna get any of those knockups, but this should still be a good team fight. Great job, man. That was actually all you. That was actually, like, all you. Okay, so now I would be pinging Baron, because you have 2 dead. They're not 3 dead. They're not in a position to contest it, and Kai'Sa does Baron super, super fast. So kind of remember what I talked about, where it's like, if you're not making the call when it's good and understanding when it's good, someone will make the call when it's bad. See, this is the bad call. Just walking mid, taking 5 turret shots, and trying to get a tier 1 turret, which is completely worthless at this stage of the game, by the way. What you should be doing is, well, 1, you should have a control ward, but 2, you should be putting Amu's control ward in the pit and pressuring for a Baron. You guys had like 30 seconds to do a Baron with Kai'Sa, who is the fastest Baron taker in the game. Okay, so we had a questionable back there. They fought without us. They're probably going to do Baron now, right? They should anyways. Let him go. Let him go. Do not go in on this. Do not go in on this. Rip, we went in on this. Alright, so that was probably a scenario where we cut our losses. They actually misplayed it and didn't have the best focus, and you lived. But I'm telling you, that was not a scenario where you want to be going in. Alright, so they are getting Baron. We can go for the steal possibly. Okay, we got it. They're off it. They're off it. That's not bad. That's not the worst. Oh. Okay. Okay. The risky Barons. I like it. I like it. Man, they took forever to back, didn't they? Nice. Okay, so we get Baron. Interesting. They just don't have any vision on it. Wow. Okay, now we go to Dragon. Okay, so this is kind of reaching the point of the game where it's just like low-elo fiesta. This is kind of getting out of like the coachable range because everyone's just kind of doing whatever they want. I think you might have been able to save Kai'Sa if you instantly activated the R. You always know when they use an ability like Z-Ult that they go to the other side of the ADC. So if you are standing like right on top of him, you can just press R and keep him from doing his follow-up combo. But you know, he's a big boy. Who knows if we even would have saved him. Alright, so we've got Baron. We're the last Baron. Yeah, I'm not gonna focus too much on this late game stuff. We've probably gotten about as much value out of this coaching session as we're going to get. Just going to kind of let this game play out and see if I see anything like totally egregious. So we're just A-ramming it. Be A-ramming. Alright, Kaisa died again. At this stage of the game, I would probably be playing, especially since you've got a Zeke's and an Athene's. I want to be building Athene's super often on Rakan, by the way. But since you're building so defensively and so based around Kaisa, I would be standing on top of Kaisa. They've got 2 champions that can jump on her and one-shot her, but if you can keep them from actually one-shotting her, she can get her ultimate off and possibly turn the entire fight. But since they're literally one-shotting her and not even giving her an opportunity to ult, I think you're going a little bit too deeps. Remember, Rakan is like super versatile. He can either be a great peeler, anti-engage, counter-engage, or he can be like a diver. But in this, you want to get used to like determining which one you're doing this game. And it might change as the game progresses, but at this stage of the game, this is now 2.5 fights in a row where Zed has just completely popped Kaisa and you're fighting the fight without a ADC. Alright, so yeah, we're just A-ramming it. But that's probably the best bit of coaching I can give for this like as the rest of the game plays out, is that at this point in the game I would just be staying on top of Kaisa and being an R machine. Just press R when Zed goes on him. Because that's at least like the nice thing about Zed. There's some trickier assassins like LeBlanc who can W in, get their combo off, and then zap back into the back of their team and be gone, and you don't really get an opportunity to counter engage. But Zed, you know exactly when he's about to do his damage. He has this big flashy like animation that plays. You hear the laugh, you know he's about to do his damage when he presses his ult. So I would say probably be peeling Kaisa here. Alright, so they got the second Baron. We're chilling, we're chilling. We got Redemption. I also I wouldn't be building Redemption this game either, because you're not going to have enough time for it to go off. When you've got champions like AP Shyvana and Zed, who all their damage comes out pretty fast and at once, you're not going to have time to actually use the Redemption, because it's got the wind up time, right? It's got the cast time. So my items this game would have looked a little bit different. I would have gone Locket, so I can pop that when Zed goes on Kaisa, and I would have gone Shirelia's to help you with your guys' engage and counter engage. Oh, did we just let them backdoor us? We did. Okay, so like I said, the tail end of the game, it's just kind of like low elo nonsense. But I think that we've covered a lot of fundamentals that you can build and work upon. And I think if you do these, you're going to see yourself skyrocket in elo. So if you have any questions or comments, you know exactly where to find me. You can message me on Twitch, Twitter, DM, OnlyFans, MySpace, whatever you want, buddy. Email. But if you have any questions at all, let me know. For those of you watching this on YouTube, I hope it helped, and hope you guys have an excellent day and reach your desired elo. Take it easy, boys. Peace.